Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football.
The first day of training is when I realized, this is why they win the league every year.
When I spoke with Kevin, if I'm going to sign or no for Olympiacos, he said, you are crazy, go direct, my friend.
Να πετύχω ήθελα να μείνω στην ιστορία του Ολυμπιακού.
I can't speak, sure.
Yeah.
Έλα μαλάκα!
Σάγαπο πάρα πολύ Πειραιάς. Είμαι Γάβρος πάντα, όλοι μαζί.
What's happening, everybody? Gate 7 International here, by the fans, for the fans. A very difficult day, a very intense day. It's transfer deadline day today, but I couldn't be happier because I finally managed to put everything together while hosting Gate 7 International. I'm very happy for myself, and this time αυτή τη φορά θα πω ένα μπράβο στον εαυτό μου. I'm joined by my namesake Costa Levoyani. It's Costas with a C. How are you, Costa?
Doing good, man. Been a crazy day. Transfer deadline day, like you said. Here we are again. Lots to get through, and the window's not shut yet.
Not yet. In the world of transfer deadline day, in 1 second can last an eternity. Everything can happen. Labro, how are you?
I'm good, but it's also a sad day. Weizhou Huang, I read, is leaving Olympiacos. So it's a tough day for me, but there's positives too. I watched the video on Sergi Canos done by YouTube yesterday, and I got excited that we may have a gun on our hands. So excited to talk about him, Bitiki, and the other ins and outs at Olympiacos. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know who's going to be scoring the goals right now. Maybe Canos can score a couple of goals now that Weizhou Huang is gone, after scoring a total of 0 goals for Olympiacos.
Yeah,
but I'm sure we're going to be just fine. A couple of housekeeping before we get things going, guys. A little word from our sponsors. For those of you that may be looking to ship, whether you're shipping from the United States, from the UK, from Australia, anywhere in Europe because you're trying to move to Greece or anywhere else, then give our friends a call at Piraeus International. They can handle all your trans-shipping needs internationally, whatever it might be. Wherever it's got to go, then get in touch with www.piraeusintl.com. That's www.piraeusintl.com, or call them on 410-675-4696. Again, that's 410-675-4696. And of course, guys, don't forget BetUS. Our good friends at BetUS. If you want to bet along with us, then use our promo code GATE7INTL. That's GATE7INTL at betus.com.pa. Again, that's betus.com.pa. Share your bets with us. We will give you guys a lot of insight that will help you make better bets. Again, promo code GATE7INTL, and you can use it at betus.com.pa. We also put posts on socials with a link that will take you directly to the page you have to go to, and you can enter the information right there. And of course, if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm. We keep growing. We're gonna keep bringing you some exclusive content, some lovely stats from Y-Scout about the upcoming about the new signings Olympiacos made in January. Crucial signings. Olympiacos at a very crucial juncture. We can give you all the stats, all the findings. I bet Aris is already sinking his teeth on that new Bitiki guy. And also, we're going to be bringing you a lot of important interviews with a lot of important insight, whether it is former Olympiacos players or colleagues or fellow journalists that are going to give us all the inside information about new signings, like Sergi Canos. We had an amazing talk last night, didn't we, Costa?
Indeed. Go and check that out. Interview with Dan Long from Sky Sports. He's a freelance journalist. He follows Brentford. Really good insights into Sergi Canos. Turns out this is a loan deal for 6 months only. There's no obligation to buy, no option even. And some of you will have seen on our socials as well, we retweeted a statement from Brentford's director of football, pretty much he's saying that Sergi hasn't had minutes at Brentford, but that there is a possibility for him to go back at the end of this 6-month loan. I'm not so sure whether that's a tactical approach from the director of football, because from what was explained to us yesterday, and I know that like a lot of people in Greece are kind of freaking out, like, oh, why didn't we buy him? And why is this just a loan? And there's no option. And oh, this is very short-termist and it's not part of the long-term plan, etc., which I understand. You've got to remember that this is a 26-year-old player who's pretty much coming to the prime years of his career, and he's worth more than 10 million euro according to Transfermarkt, that is. So if he plays well, if he does well now, then at the end of the 6 months, Brentford are going to be in a good position to ask for a high fee. Now, in mid-January, it was reported that they wanted 2.5 million, and that was again quoted from Sky Sports. But you've got to see this from a business angle as well, from Brentford's point of view. Like I said, if he does well here, then the fee goes up. What they might ask, they do have the option to trigger a 1-year extension, so they can ask for money at the end of the 6 months. If we want to try and get him, we can try and get him, but again, there may well be competition. But also, guys, like Philip Zinkenagel's coming back at the end of this season. We don't know what's going to happen there. We just signed another winger as well, Bitiki, who we'll talk about. But I'll stop there on Canos. Like, go and check that episode out when you guys have a moment, if you haven't already. And I do want to give a shout out to the basketball team. Massive win tonight in Istanbul against Fenerbahce, against Dimitris Itoudis' team, 73-93. It's we've made some really big victories back to back, like beating Real Madrid at home, beating Maccabi last week, winning away to Bologna as well in a really tight game, and we're sitting top of the standings right now in the EuroLeague with 15 wins, 7 losses record, and we've got FS coming to the Peace and Friendship Stadium in a couple of days for another sold-out game. Papa Nicolau with a monster performance. I think he had 22 points tonight, and Isaiah Cannon went off as well with six 3-points out of 9, 21 points from Isaiah Cannon. And all of a sudden, maybe people aren't thinking about Tyler Dorsey anymore. But there's my basketball rant done. We can. The comments are going off too, guys.
Absolutely, they are. I think it's a very interesting signing, though, Sergi Carlos, based on what we discussed with Dan Long yesterday. A player that played a major role in Brentford's promotion to the Premier League, historic promotion to the Premier League. A player that played a role in Brentford's successful maiden Premier League season, scored their first Premier League goal against Arsenal, nonetheless. A player who carries a lot of passion. He's going to put. We expect him to show character on the pitch. A player that can finally give some explosiveness, some movement, some life down the wing. It's going to be very interesting to see him playing alongside players like Kostas Fortounis, James Rodriguez, Pepiel. Somebody asked if he's going to be ready for PAOK. I doubt it, personally. I'm going to be super shocked to see him in the starting lineup nonetheless. Maybe he'll be on the bench, but
he'll be on the bench. I'm sure he'll be on the bench.
I don't think that's unrealistic, but I wouldn't count on it. Labro, what do you make of Sergi Carlos?
Yeah,
honestly,
you watched the video, so what did you think from what you heard, and in general, what are your thoughts?
It's interesting because I have a few different perspectives because I haven't watched Sergi Carlos whatsoever. I don't know the player. I don't watch much Brentford. But it seems like an interesting type of scenario. The player's kind of been out of step or not chosen, so this is what happens. But I'm just considering how he came to Olympiacos, and I'm a bit worried that he's only played. Lakis just brought it up. He's played less than 90 total minutes of football this season. I guess that's the biggest worry for the player. But we do have a bit of time here. The playoffs don't start for another 6 match days. And we brought in the other winger from Konyaspor, who I think is significantly ready. And he seems like a player that can play multiple positions. He likes to play on the left wing, from what I understand the most from what you guys said.
So the journalist was telling us that he likes to play on the right.
On the right.
But
Okay.
the season that he had the good numbers in the championship, like 8 goals, 9 assists, I think it was, he was actually starting out on the left. But yeah, it's a player that's like pretty versatile. I mean, Ari is going to be coming with a deep dive, and he's already told us. I mean, the guy's played left wing back, left right back, right wing back, and in all the winger positions. And just again to answer this question from Vagos, yes, it's a 6-month loan deal, no option, no obligation to buy. You can go back a couple of minutes. I just talked about that.
Yeah, so I think the biggest worry is he ready, 1, and 2, what is the reasoning that as soon as Brentford essentially got into the Premier League, he was not really considered? Like, was he not good enough of a player? Was his finishing not good enough? Was he not clinical enough?
It was the system that they were playing. It didn't really suit him, the system that Brentford were playing. And he also got injured at the start of the season. He had a hamstring injury that Dan told us shouldn't affect him at Olympiacos.
Yeah. So I'm interested. The points I'm excited about is supposedly he's fiery. He likes the fans. He likes a good atmosphere. He's up for a big game. I think that's something Olympiacos needs. Like, we still don't have a ton of leaders on the pitch. A ton of fighters. A ton of guys who you go out there and you're like, I want to go to war with this player. So if he's a guy who can rise to the occasion in the derbies, the hot environment, that's exciting for me. But as Costa said when you guys were speaking with the journalist from Sky Sports,
Dan Long,
yeah, sorry. The worry is, like, these players from England have just been flopping nonstop at Olympiacos, like Josh Bowler just recently, and then Joe is from Nottingham Forest, but you know what I mean. Like, sometimes Zinkernagel failed, quote unquote, at Olympiacos, so it's just. There's a worry about the adaptation period. He's Spanish, but he's been there for like 8 years in the UK. So it's like he is Spanish, but he's more used to English football. Will this, I'm just a bit worried about that, I guess, as well. But honestly, we need a winger. Something's got to be better than Gary Rodriguez. I just hope he gets time, and I hope if he doesn't hit the ground running, people don't turn on him like they did with Zinkernagel, who scored like 3 or 4 goals and still got booted out of the club. I just hope we give him a bit of time because he may need rhythm for sure. That's my opinion, and let's see where it goes. I can't claim to know everything about him, but this is just from listening to what you guys said and reading about him a bit, and yeah.
Well, I'm reading people calling him the next Vrusai or the next Zinkernagel, but I think based on what we were hearing yesterday, Costa, we came up with a name of our own, a comparison of our own. Do you remember which one that was? A former player, quite popular, quite legendary.
Number 19.
You want to remind me?
Number 19. Who's guessing it? Who watched
David Fuster. I watched the guy.
Oh, yes, Labro. Yes, Labro.
Fusteragos.
Yeah, he's got that fire. Let's see, but it's one thing to have the fire when you play in the UK against like Burnley, and it's another fire when you go to sold out Tumba and look them dead in the eye. That personally, that's my opinion. Like, I know the football level in the UK is so high, but the atmosphere is so much low than it is compared to what you would get at a derby in Greece. So it's one thing to be fiery there. If you're fiery in Greece and can escape, that's another story in my book. So let's see it. I want to see it on the pitch. That's it. That's all I have to say.
So we're getting a lot of these messages today, and I know we want to focus first on the ins, but in terms of, I mean, look, the window shutting in 6 minutes in Greece, and there was word about Gustavo Henrique throughout the day. This is a Brazilian centre back that's on loan at Fenerbahce from Flamengo. I think he's 29 years of age. He played at Santos, actually. He was very good at Santos. He went to Flamingo and wasn't that good and got loaned out to Fenerbahce. And he was apparently close to signing. We'd been hearing his name the last couple of days, and then all of a sudden it was kind of like, oh, it's happening. No, it's not happening. There's not enough time to get the deal done, rescind the loan contract, and then sign again for us. So that didn't happen. And I know there are mixed feelings on this issue, and we've talked about it, I feel, quite a bit the last few episodes, the last few lives we've done. Do we need a centre back, and what the hell happens if Socrates or if Andreas Doi gets injured? Because Cissé's not been playing, Cissé's not been sold, Bar's not been playing, he's not been sold, and Retsos is, not ready
right now.
Yeah. I share the frustration of a lot of fans on the centre back issue. As I said the other day, is better. Perhaps it's better not to buy a centre back for the sake of buying a centre back, because in January is hard to find like quality, and you really want to spend, like, getting a good centre back costs money. So we have to pray, like, cross your fingers, like, knock on wood wherever you are, and just pray that Socrates and Doi somehow make it to the end of the season. It's going to get more complex when we get to playoffs. They're playing every 3 to 4 days, aren't they?
Yeah.
When we get to the playoffs, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, or like,
But Ba is still here. He's coming back. Personally, I think I'm trying to think if I was in the room, how I would think of myself. I would think, okay, we had one or two center back options. They obviously liked Gustavo Enrique, but they couldn't get it done. So they're probably saying to themselves, they're probably thinking to themselves, well, look, if we get desperate, we can use Jan Envia at center back and have Samaseko play the 6. Like, that's how I can picture them kind of reasoning within their head that this makes sense, because at the moment, Cissé, he's the fourth choice center back behind Retsos, Doi, and Socrates. And for me, Retsos, there's like, I'm not even sure Retsos could play for Asteras Tripoli like anymore. When you watch him play, it's like, no, I'm serious.
He had a lot of injuries. He came back.
He had a lot of injuries, but go watch the guy play. Look, like, go. If you take the player out of Olympiacos, and could he play for Aris? Would he play instead of Braboric or Fabiano? No. Would he play for Ike? No, he wouldn't. Would he play for PAOK? No, he wouldn't. Would he play for Panathinaikos? Maybe, with Bougaras, who sucks. Bouguras, whatever. Sucks. So, but the thing with Retsos for me is just like, Retsos is not Olympiacos anymore. Like, you love the player. I loved him. He was one of my favorite players when he came through the academy, but Olympiacos cannot rely on Panos Retsos. Like, the goal he fucking gave up this weekend was comical. Just absolute comical level defending. So if he has to play in a derby, I fear for like all of our well-being. So and also Cissé is miles ahead of fucking Panos Retsos. Like, what is the shit of like Panos Retsos plays? It really is quite annoying, because I know Cissé has made a lot of mistakes and blah blah blah, but like, Panos Retsos.
We're gonna get to the outgoings real soon. When it comes to the new signings, the big news is Zimmer Bitiki has officially joined Olympiacos from Konyaspor, a deal that has reportedly cost Olympiacos less than 1 million euros, basically 900,000 euros. He's a winger as well, coming from Konyaspor. Apparently, Olympiacos it seems like Olympiacos are offering Andreas Bouchalakis in return. This has played a role in during those discussions. According to the Olympiacos media, he is one of Konyaspor's best players. I personally don't know much about Konyaspor, but looking at the numbers, I'm seeing 1 goal and 3 assists in 23 appearances across all competitions this season, and a total of 11 goals, 15 assists in 83 appearances for Konyaspor since 2021 when he joined from Viking. What do we make of that, fellows?
I like this deal.
You like it?
I don't know the player. I don't know the player. So this is a guy born 10 years after me in Belgium, grew up in Norway. He played for the Norway under-15s all the way through to under-21. Now he's capped with Kosovo 16 times. He's scored a goal. He's a player that plays predominantly on the left wing with a current market value of 5 million euros. His contract's up in the summer. Well, his contract at Konyaspor was up in the summer, and we've managed to get this guy for around it's like reported 800,000 maximum 1 million euro fee. And I've got to say, I've watched like 1 minute of highlight reel, and like I don't know the player, but looking at some of the reactions on social media and some of the things that Turkish friends are saying, looks quite positive. Like this looks like a player that's highly rated, playing in a mid-level team in the Turkish Super League. So Konyaspor's sitting 8th right now in the Turkish league. They have 19 teams. So he was in a mediocre team. I understand he had a good season last season. This season he has 19 appearances. I think you mentioned Costa.
1 goal,
2 assists.
3.
He has
Or
no
2
goals
in
in the
Turkish
league.
anyway.
I don't think he has any goals in the league. He's played
Doesn't.
19 games, has 2 assists, 1 goal in qualifiers of the Conference League, and that's it.
And last season he had a total of 39 appearances in the Super League and in the Turkish Cup. 39 appearances, 8 goals, 7 assists in 3,000 minutes.
That's almost 1 in
Football.
2. That's 1 goal in 2. Pretty much.
I mean, it's a goal contribution nearly every game.
Exactly.
It's a goal contribution nearly every game.
Yeah, exactly.
And even in a 1 minute highlight reel that I managed to watch, like he has something that we currently just don't have. What is that on the wings? Someone that can run at people, or somebody that can dribble the ball, and is different to Josh Bowler. Like he has something. This player has something, and I know there's someone here that's particularly opinionated on these kinds of things, and I'm going to bring him straight in.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
Marshall joins us, and I take this opportunity also as well. If you're happy that Marshall just joined, like smash the like button. If you're happy in general and you want to hit the like button, you haven't done it already, do so because it costs nothing. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We're your #1 English source for all things Olympiacos. And now, Marshall, tell us about Zimir Bitiki. It's going to be fun.
You've talked to Turkish people who follow it, Martial, so tell us.
It's a French account that speaks about Turkish football that told me it's with the price we pay for the player, it's like a robbery because he has tremendous qualities, and I do believe I'm very optimistic about this move because it does not cost a lot of money at first. It's like it reminds me a little bit of Rangelovic when he came at first, like 500,000 halfway from Serbia. The Turkish league is better, of course. There is no comparison between those, but we can only be surprised positively with this player, in my opinion. And also, he has good one-on-one ability, which is something we don't really have in the squad because Gary Rodriguez's main ability is the pace, and Masuras is much more complete player, if I can say that, like tactically intelligent, high working rate, stuff like that. But with Bitiki, as you said, Costa earlier when we spoke on the phone, it could be like someone like Habdun, for example, in the past. You know, that kind of crazy winger that could light up the stadium. From what I saw on videos, that it's not always the truth, but when I saw on the video, it's like he loves to dribble, loves to create, loves to eliminate. When you see the player we have currently in the team, the creativity we have in the midfield, this is probably the kind of profile we do need on the wing. So let's see how it turns.
And he's going to be more ready as well. With so many important games coming up, with the semifinals against AEK, you got PAOK on Sunday, which I think is way too soon for both those wingers. But it seems like those two players, Canos as well, they're bringing some sort of explosiveness, some sort of tempo, they move the ball forward, they break inside the box, they throw the ball in. I mean, especially you said it, Martial. I mean, when it comes to Bitiki, who has also been pronounced as Butucci, Zumer Butucci, we need to find out how he's called. It sounds very positive.
Yeah.
No, I think also it's like Martial said, it's like low risk transfer. Olympiacos just needs, I think they're just giving this guy a chance and to see what it is, because everyone's seen what the wing play now is with Masuras and Gary Rodriguez. So it's a bit like, can he be that much worse is the feeling. I feel with like the wingers we bring in, it's just like, surely no one can be worse than what Gary and Masuras have been producing the past few months. So let's see. I have no idea what the guy looks like, what he plays like. It's going to be interesting to see. And I think this one is also a permanent transfer. So if he turns good, he's going to be here in the summer and we can use him for qualifiers, which will be very, very, very important. So I think that's a pro as well. So
yeah, and also what I wanted to say about Rangelovic is that I remember when he came, he had no pressure at all. Like no one knew him when he came, and we all remember what he did in the qualifiers in the summer. Yeah. And that's probably what I'm expecting from Bitiki when he will probably come in the next few games, like playing without pressure compared to Thauvin, for example. Because if you bring Thauvin in January, of course, at first you have to give him good money, and he has to win you the title. Because if he doesn't, it's a failure. It's already a failure, and you arrive in the summer with a disappointment. And I'm not saying that to convince people that it's good we did not get Thauvin, because it would have been a good transfer. But probably this is what we need with the team, because if we go back to the summer, every big name that came almost failed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Compared to a player that came without any pressure or any publicity or stuff like that. And like Madi Camara, when he came at first, Papa Boussisse, for example, when they came, they didn't have a big name. So maybe we have to move on from big name to informed player in lower leagues. Probably Bitiki could be one of them. Let's see.
Well, hopefully they're going to be ready as well with those big games coming up.
I can see him playing on Sunday.
Which one, Bitiki or the other one?
I can see Bitiki coming on for like 15 minutes or something.
You mean from the bench? That's what I was about to say. Like, I would be shocked to see either one of them in the starting lineup. I think it's pretty realistic to see them on the bench. Do we have to add anything about the signings? Because we do have some breaking news in terms of outgoings.
We shouldn't forget that Rodinei is also a January transfer window signing,
and Ramon.
And Ramon as well. Yeah, we haven't. So we've made. All right. Are we correct here? 4. It's been 4 transfers this January transfer.
Now try to count transfers out now.
That's important positions that needed
Ramon at left back, Rodinei at right back, Bitiki wing, and Canos.
A versatile winger, let's call him.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
Hopefully it's
wondering
not
what
the-
this means. Jim Solbakan client. Is that BTiki? Is this like a famous agent or something? This is from Stel from the Nerdcrafters podcast, I assume. I don't know anything. I think he's the agent of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. Yeah.
Wasn't he working with Omar as well for a bit?
Maybe. He's a Norwegian agent, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
So, yeah.
we got some breaking news. Thomas Vatslik has been announced by Huddersfield. He has officially joined Huddersfield. They have shared a little clip presenting him almost 5 minutes ago. So this is it now. Olympiacos are going to continue with Paschalakis and Zolakis for the rest of this extremely crucial season, with some extremely crucial matches coming.
Do you have some extremely opinionated views on this, Costa? Because I'm feeling it. Let's hear it.
No, I mean, I think I've already said it like twice. Martial was there, Labros was there. I think you were there as well. Listen, Alexandros Paschalakis has had an amazing season, absolutely incredible season by Alexandros Paschalakis. I do hope he's not going to remember his old self from PAOK. He committed some unbelievable howlers during his time at PAOK. I do hope he doesn't get injured. It's extremely difficult matches lying ahead. Very few days in between to rest and regroup from those extremely difficult matches. Kostas Zolakis, incredible performance against Aris, a fantastic goalkeeper with a very bright future ahead of him. But it's one thing to play in a cup game against Aris. It's another thing to do this again and again and again in 8 derbies in a row. You know what? I think it would have been best if Vatslik was a plan B in case Paschalakis could not start for Olympiacos. After all, he's a man with a lot of talent, a lot of experience, a lot of success. He was the one that basically got us in Europe with his penalty saves. But you know what? Good on Huddersfield. Well, I wish him the best. I think Huddersfield fans should be happy. At the end of the day, Olympiacos have two very talented goalkeepers. I do hope Paschalakis remains fit.
I have a completely opposite opinion to that.
Breaking news. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. It's official. This is official now.
Oh.
Hagibou Kamara to Atromitos loan. It's official now. Well, at least I've picked it up. It's in the French press. Foot 224. I see they're basically citing after having turned the back on interest from Standard Liège, Anderlecht, and Hertha Berlin, to name but a few clubs. He is going to be loaned out to Atromitos for the next 6 months without any option to buy. So that's breaking right now.
I think Chris Coleman will do a good job with that one.
That's a good shout, actually. That's a really good shout.
They've been in good form too recently, but imagine Standard Liège calling, Hertha Berlin calling, and you give them to Atromitos. I'd be more interested in Martial's opinion of this, actually. I
have no words because I don't really understand the point of loaning Hagibou for only 6 months, because if the plan is to have him back in the roster, which is something I do believe, or at least make a good sale, you have to loan him for 1 year and a half, because he's gonna play 10 games, 12 games maybe with Atromitos, and that's it. That's not enough if we want him to improve, because we all know the league. Atromitos probably not gonna make into the playoff, so he's gonna play games without any interest, because Atromitos won't be in danger for salvation. So it's a very difficult debate.
They have a shout. They have a shout at the playoffs. They're not too far away, and Aris is not looking good.
Volos is the last post.
There's a 4-point difference, but yeah, I mean it's they're not. Let's see.
Adi, we just said it. Hagibou Kamara is going to Atromitos. He's not going to Maccabi Tel Aviv.
But I just think it makes no sense. If teams abroad were interested, I would be more interested in Nagibu going abroad and getting experience. The guy already fucking dominated on that night with Fenerbahce. He scored important goals against AEK. He had big moments. What is he going to learn in the Greek Super League? Like, what a colossal waste of time. I know he's in poor form right now, but like if Standard Liège calls, like surely you let him go there. You know, I just they're in a pretty scrappy fight in the league there. So I don't know. It's just disappointing, but
yeah, and the website said that if he turned down the loan to Atromitos, he would have played with the B team until the end of the season. So how could you? How could you treat? We can debate on what he did on the pitch after the African Cup. Like, this is a major topic, but the way it's handled. I mean, when the Africa Cup came, and after what he did after that, you knew a departure would come because he lost ground in the team, and we needed someone more ready if we wanted to go to the Champions League. But you need to plan the loan earlier. Like, you knew probably in April, in last May, that he would leave, and he needed to leave in June, in July maybe.
Yeah,
just giving to League Two or a team like that.
Is my maths a little off? Aren't Olympiacos left with three midfielders now?
no.
Mvila, Samaseku, Juan,
Four. Yeah.
Kasami.
Kasami. Yeah. That's not a bad. Yeah.
Vasilis Turlis just came back.
Did he come back? I just made that up. I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, I didn't.
I made that up in our group chat. But I don't know.
Oh, was that a joke that you made?
Yeah, I thought it was a joke, but I read that he was thinking of coming back, but I didn't see anything official.
But
plus,
there was
plus we got 1,000 number 10s as well, so like they are technically midfielders.
But there was news about him getting thrown out of Sittard because they didn't see any use of him anymore. But I don't know. Is this official? Stel is telling us about Pinagas.
Yeah, no, that was so. I said that was real, but then I said Surlis as well, which was not real.
So I wonder.
I wonder if there's any plan to use him. I don't think he played a lot.
There's no way.
Apollon. I don't think he played a lot at Apollon. Stel, maybe you can confirm that.
The B team needs a striker, I read. So
that if El Arabi or Bakambu get injured, then we have. Could you imagine Bakambu gets injured right now?
Yeah, not good. Yeah.
If Bakambu gets injured, we're in big trouble.
Kostas Fortounis has played as a false nine. Obviously, he wasn't. How do you call it? He didn't rack the goals, but he wasn't half bad. Not at all half bad.
What said it? I remember one game
Man
or
City.
two.
No, quite a few.
Exactly.
And I think
against Barcelona.
Exactly. Barcelona, Sporting Lisbon away.
Man City at home when we had all those COVID problems.
No.
But yeah,
crisis.
Not ideal.
But it seems like we have a few more outgoings. Hardly kick the ball. Okay, that's promising.
But my opinion on Vacilik is, for the player, I'm happy that he's gone because I think he deserves an opportunity to go start somewhere. Let him go start the. Oh, you have something to say, Marcel?
No. I would like to speak on this topic, but just go on.
Yeah. So on Vacilik, I appreciate everything he's done for Olympiacos, but I think Paschalakis is here for the rest of the season. If he goes down, Tolakis is fine. Vacilik is not the future at Olympiacos. He deserves to go somewhere.
Nobody said anything about the future.
I know.
Of the season.
Costa, but I think Vacilik is like the international goalkeeper of the Czech Republic, wants to play football, right? So I think it's fine. Also, I will say Vacilik could not jump anymore. Like, he couldn't run, he couldn't jump. And a lot of the problems from the qualifiers also occurred because of Vacilik's inability to move and come for crosses. I know he saved us in the penalties, but a lot of goals actually from the qualifiers came from his inability to get out. And first things first as well, I was surprised he passed the medical at Huddersfield Town. So that's that. But
there were some fake news on Twitter that he failed
the medical,
at Alkmaar.
The question about that is, who is the most reliable, the young goalkeeper that comes out a big game in Aris, or the whole number one that was injured in a key part of his body when you're a goalkeeper, which is the shoulder, and needs to find more rhythm. And I think those two things balance, and also the fact that probably, as Lambro said, he deserves to play, because I'm not sure Vaclik. It's very difficult for a former number one to be the number two, or even more the number three in the rankings of the goalkeeper. So if I don't know, probably we it's something we could regret, but at least we won't have to play Christensen if Pachalakis gets injured. So that's the good news.
That's a good thought, Martial. But I will say this: anyone who trashed Vaclik and is like, "Oh, thank God, this fraud is gone," if Pachalakis gets injured and Zoulakis plays at the playoffs and he has a nightmare, I am not going to listen a word of it from those people. Zoulakis is a fraud. Zoulakis was shit. Get rid of him. Get Christensen in. I am not going to listen a syllable of that. Not going to have a syllable of that.
But also, it clears up some wage bill going into the second half of the season as well. But yeah, moving on, there's more news of people going away. Where do we even start? Weizhou Huang, real quick, is back to, or Bouchalakis is to Konyaspor, and
Avila is a sale.
Is a sale to Ludogorets, yeah.
But are those done deals? Definite done deals. Lost
Martial, but
Weizhou Huang is gone, man. It's devastating news.
Weizhou, do we even need to talk about it? Weizhou Huang is gone.
The window in Turkey is open until the 8th of February.
Okay, so it's not done yet for Bouchalakis.
Yeah, but that's happening, but it's not announced yet. And then in terms of Avila, we had a good source in Bulgaria tell us about that already yesterday.
Done
that
deal.
It was a done deal. Haven't seen him in Ludogorets color kit yet, but I mean that's surely done deal as well.
Yeah. We didn't see Avila after that Leoforos game, did we?
No.
I still think we could have used him for the role that we bought him in for.
Absolutely. I don't know. Do you guys remember? I mean, what do you guys think of that? Like, we've expressed our opinions about Leoforos, but we didn't see him after that, didn't we?
He was never brought in to be a starting right back who plays in Leoforos. Like he was never, like he was there to like make sure that we don't have to see Vrusai play football anymore. And what is Avia? He's like an average to mediocre fullback, offensive right, but he's an offensive right back. That's like what he is. Like it's his position. He knows how to play the position. He's not like a winger playing there. He's not a midfielder playing there like the rest of them are. And he was fine. Even in moments, he had good games where good games, quote unquote, where he was running down the side. He had nice interplay. Like he wasn't horrible by any means. It just seems like someone lost it after Leoforos and was like, I don't want to see this guy ever again, which the club denies. But like, how can you deny it when the evidence is what it is? Yeah.
Sima Vasalko, yeah, he's gone, mate. Does anyone remember Sima Vasalko?
He retired, I think.
Did he retire?
He's raising sheep, I think, in Croatia.
You know also who left?
He says that with such a... Sorry, we can't go on. He said that with such a serious face.
He posted on Instagram that he was raising sheep, so I just like he like lived in a snowy village or something. But I'm looking at him. Yeah, he hasn't found a club yet. Like Sime Versalco, I think he's finished. I think he's retired, or he's going to retire. Quote unquote.
Also, Kudris and Masuras, Yanis Masuras also left for Poland. Both of them.
Yeah.
They both played in their first game, and Yanis Masuras had a very good game from what I saw.
Yeah. But we also have some players that we thought were going to leave in January but didn't. One of them is Oleg Reabciuk, who Olympiacos have rejected a third bid from Montpellier. They rejected the first one, which was 3 million, second one that was 4 million, and the last one that was 4.5 million after rejecting offers from Strasbourg and Bologna as well. So yeah, Oleg is staying. 4.5 million euros, have been rejected. Pretty strange one, isn't it, guys? Pretty of a strange one here.
I wish I could say it was strange.
Yeah.
For Olympiacos.
For Olympiacos, it's not. But do Olympiacos actually expect a better offer for Oleg Reabciuk?
No.
But I think we were kind of waiting for the panic buy offer we could have had, and we probably have one with Montpellier, because the 4.5 million for Reabciuk looks like good money in my opinion, and I'm not sure his value will raise until the summer unless we qualify for the Champions League, or if he does very good qualifiers with the club. But it doesn't have a bankable nationality on the market, because the national team of Moldova is very average. Like, they don't play in big tournaments, they don't even win games, and he's a left back. So unless he grabs some assists until the end of the season, his main value is to play back-to-back games. So I'm not so sure we will have an offer like that in the summer. But also, probably we were afraid to lose him in the middle of the season, and without.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah, sorry, Martial, go on.
No, but I think that the signal that we refused, we turned down. Like, same applied for Cisse and Germany, because we have no one to replace them.
Do you know, Martial, or anyone? Do you guys know how much Hertha Berlin were offering for Cisse?
I think it was a loan. I don't have the details.
Yeah,
I don't have the details.
No one's going to buy Cisse for more than 4 million euros now. Like, it's going to be a loan with a option, or it's going to be that, like 3-4 million euros max, I think. Who would buy Cisse, like, seriously right now? With
not for more than 3 or 4 million.
It doesn't make sense. Like, the guy's not playing football. He's the fourth choice center back at Olympiacos. His age profile, he's leaving his prime years. He's not leaving his prime years, but when you're a team that buys a player and then you want to sell them, like Cisse, what is he now, like 28? He's only got a few
27.
more years. 27. Like, he's not 24 anymore, where you can demand 10 million euros for him. So it's difficult, and the club is so stuck sometimes on numbers. Like, I think they're almost like insulted by 4 million euros for Cisse, but it's like,
yeah, we turned down the big offer from Cisse. I think it was in January, not this season, but 2 years ago, maybe, before he went to Saint-Etienne. We turned down like 16 million euros from, I think, about Augsburg in Germany. But I think we also turned down an offer not last summer, the summer after he came back from Saint-Etienne. I think it was Troyes in Ligue 1, that belongs to the City Group. They offered like 8-9 millions for him, and we turned down because we were expecting for 10 million. Yeah, I don't know who you can sell for 10 million in Greece right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But what bothers me what bothers me with Cisse is the disrespect. Like, yeah, it's like Cisse is probably not worth 3 to 4 million right now. I can agree with that. But like the comments, like, he's dangerous, he's got a mistake in him. Yeah, he does. But this is a player that we signed in the Besnik Hussey year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for so long at this club. He had to go away to Saint-Etienne, then come back and start as a fifth centre-back. Was it last season? Last season, he started behind Svetozar Markovic in the rankings. He had to play left-back away against Ludogorets and against the the team before that, the Azeri team that we played against. He had to
Baku,
play.
Neftchi Baku.
Bravo. He played left back against Neftchi Baku because the team had corona crisis. And then he cemented his place back in the team. And now he's out of favor again. It's like, yeah, there are, Cisse does have those moments in lapses in concentration. But
so Socrates has to.
Yeah, but
yes, what a disaster with the offside. Like, how many times we play this game with Socrates? And
yeah, but guys, as well with Cisse, he had a horrible year, horrible season. The season started horribly for him because he lost a very, very dear person of his, right?
Yeah.
Family tragedy. It was a real tragedy what happened to Cisse. And we never got to know what kind of mental impact it had on his psyche. But I do want to bring one more person in this who always has a very important insight into the players. He especially when it comes to their numbers, and that is none other than Gate 7 International Zone, Aris Bouloubasis.
What's up, guys? I just wanted to come in and say hi real quick. I'm not sticking around too long.
It's incredible.
Okay.
I've never even seen the StreamYard thing with this many people.
This
is the first time I've seen it.
Is this the first time all 5 of us have been on?
I think so. I've never seen this.
It might well be.
Yeah, incredible.
This is a lot going on right here. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, this is crazy.
It's
I don't even know what to
in games.
Adi, tell us what you think about Olympiacos' last day in the transfer window.
Well, it's going to be eventful for me. I'm promising you guys tonight. So all the data has been pulled for Sergi. I'm going to do that deep dive tonight when I get home after Michali goes to bed. That will be recorded. I've watched the film. It's going to be done tonight. Then tomorrow I will record the oh my God. Because of my iPhone auto-correcting his name, I'm going to say Bisquick every single time now. But I'm going to have that deep dive done also tomorrow. So over the course of the next 2 days, there'll be 2 deep dives done for these players. And I'll get those out of the way so that you guys have some analysis for that. So that'll be done. And as far as the moves, interesting trend. I know I talked to you guys about it in our group chat. But looking at, if we count Rodinei, which was technically done before the window actually started, Rodinei, Ramon, Sergi. I don't know anything about the he's from Kosovo, the Kosovoan winger.
Bitiki.
Bitiki, yeah, thank you. Before I say Bisquick again. Auto-correcting in my brain. But 3 of the 4 so far are fighters. Remember, Holebas told you guys the team was lacking fighters. And here we go. We've signed 3 players now that are fighters. So very interesting. I like these signings. It's for the first time there's a window where I'm not looking at a signing and be like, what is this? There's 3 signings, 3 good signings. Maybe Ramon, I don't think is going to have really big impact this season, but I think he's a project signing that we'll get something out of in the future. But for sure, between Rodinei and Sergi, I think we've got something good here.
Perfect.
Bitiki, I've also heard, is a player that tracks back. He's not like the typical kind of flair man out on the wing that just likes to do step overs and dribble and run at people. Like maybe, that was a criticism of Josh Bowler probably. It didn't track back, tactically not very astute. But I have read from a little bit of research that it is a player that puts the effort in as well. He does like to track back.
Yeah. I would like to touch on something Martial said about Reabciuk. Because we haven't seen much of Ramon, you've done an excellent work in this, Ari, with your deep dive. But if Ramon does not work out, if he gets injured, and Oleg had left to one of his suitors, Olympiacos would have been pretty screwed in that department. So maybe that's the reason.
No, they won't.
Why?
Because we have Rusayan and Rutos. They can play everywhere, man.
Okay. LOL plus Marcelo as well is there.
Marcelo.
Oh yeah, God, I didn't even mention him.
He's not gone. He didn't leave. I guess
he didn't leave at the end.
So he's not going to Turkey. Oh, he still can go to Turkey because they're open a week later. So
We have a bit of a lineup here. Paschalakis, Rodinei, Labros, Kostas, Costa, Ramon, Marcial, Ari, James, Bakambu, Biel. That's a lineup right there, I think.
Is this a 4-4-2?
I'm not sure because
No.
I'm not.
No,
am I
that looks
supposed
like
to be left back?
that looks like a 5-3-2. Μαλάκα, εγώ εξάρι παίζω στα καλά μου.
Ari plays as a midfielder, doesn't he?
I'm no winger. I can do 10. I'll do 8. I'll do 6. That's me. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh, it's a 5-2-3 actually.
Yeah.
It's a
I'm the
5-2-3.
middle central defender. I'm like the leader in the defense.
You're the tall one.
Exactly.
Labros and I are center backs. So is Kostas Levogiannis. Marcial and Ari are midfielders. So Ari, you're playing in your natural position.
Works
with
for me.
James, Bakambu, and Biel up front. Okay, it's not horrible.
What a great partner in the midfielder. I'd love that.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, back onto the team, guys. The transfer window, this window, just it doesn't resemble a lot of the other ones, I guess. Like it's reserved, at least. You know, they got rid of the disaster. The big problem was getting rid of players.
Almost 20 players that left.
20 players left this window.
If we start from Manolas, that is not on the numbers. It was 14 players out before Agibu Kamara loan to Atromitos and Vijo going back to Nottingham or elsewhere in the MLS. So it's like 16 players out.
It's incredible. It's actually incredible, like, to think about it, that moving 16 players on.
I don't know who needs to be I don't know the word, like, granted the work done. Like probably Mitchell at first because he said it at the very first moment when he came, like he wanted the roster to be reduced, and also the club as a whole has made a good work to get rid of players. And I think we've said it before on the show that players like Kutris, for example, or Giannis Masouras, you need to stop expecting a fee or not giving them a loan because it does not matter at that time. They won't come back. They have no place in Olympiacos. So you have to resign them and let them go on a free because they went to Poland. And probably the same will happen in the summer when we will get back some loanees that are in the plans. But 16, I think it could be a record in January. I don't recall.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know how many players since the summer have actually, like, whether they didn't stay long, how many have actually, like, they were here and they left? Is it over 30 players have exited? Maybe
like
40?
Who came in the summer then left? You've got
no, I'm just saying, period.
Conrad de la Fuente. Like,
how many players that at least were here for a time, doesn't matter how long, like, have exited the club this season?
It's more than 20.
No, it's got to be. It's over 30, I think. To be honest with you. Like, I'm including loans too. Like
Pepe came back to Olympiacos for like one day and then went on loan again as well, I guess. So
it's second division. Cartagena, he's gone.
Yeah. He played as a starter for the first game.
Can I just this comment? We talked about this the other day. Rajilovic is a transfer. It's not a loan.
Yeah, Yekaterinenburg.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I have the list. I have the full list here of players that have exited the club this season.
Read the names. Let's do it.
So, Ruben Semedo. God, that feels like a decade ago. Yep. Madi, of course, going to Roma. Onyekuru going to Turkey. Tiquinho to Botafogo. Lazar Radejevic. That was a transfer, by the way. It's $500K, it looks like, was the official sale. Kenny Lala, Kutris, Chumich, I guess Yanis Masouras, Nikolias, I guess. I forgot about this kid, the central midfielder, Nikolias, whatever. I don't know how you say. Karagiris, the goalkeeper, Manola, Vachlik now, Markovic, AK-47, Pepe, Hassan, Zinkernagel. Pepe actually has come and left twice.
yeah. It's not a good look. Joao Carvalho played
Yeah.
against Maccabi Haifa. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, Carvalho too. He's one. Kunde, Lovera, Doran Leidner. We brought him in and loaned him out. Kane, Fadiga, Solis, Pitsos, Versalico. Technically, I don't know if this counts, but Avram played for us, right? And then
Yeah.
retired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Technically,
Oh my
right?
God!
So
Yes.
that counts as an
it's
exit.
incredible.
This is like a fucking football squad. Alexandros Voilis is another one, like a
Josh
very
Bowler.
exotic one.
Josh Bowler.
Josh Bowler. And I guess I don't know. I mean, Rony Lopez and Karbovnik, technically their loan deals ended, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you want to count them as exiting in the summer, they left over the summer. So that's
Did you
mad.
say
Also,
Tiquinho as well? Tiquinho
I did
as
say
well?
Tiquinho.
there is
We said
B-team
Tiquinho.
players that left too, like Dabo on loan and
I'm not even
Voilis
counting
left.
those. I didn't even
Kunde
get to
as
those.
well. God damn.
Kunde, yeah. So
He's
by that
he's
count,
terrible.
by this count, right here, I'm just looking at it right now. By this count, in terms of this number of departures, it was a total, if we include like Rony Lopez, Karbovnik, I guess as well, 30 departures, 29 players that departed.
2 coaches,
Christ.
2 managers as well.
I was gonna say 2 coaches. Man, this is
I got a
crazy.
question for the panel. If Olympiacos win this title, will this be the most heroic title or the most random title Olympiacos ever win?
It would
I
be
think
the
it
most
says more-
absurd title.
I think it says more about the Greek Super League if Olympiacos is able to win the title this year. Like, you know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
how? You know, just like how. So,
Yeah, that's crazy. We have literally, that's more than a whole. I'm just thinking about it, like most rosters, right? You have like maybe anywhere between 25 to 28 normal teams, right? 25 to 28 players. So an entire roster and some plus coaching staff has exited the club this season.
I completely forgot about Joao Carvalho too. What a random player. How random.
Hey, be nice to Carvalho. That was our first exclusive.
That was our first exclusive, but like I'm looking actually because when Adi was bringing this up, I'm looking at the team that played Maccabi Haifa, and the lineup was Vachlik, Versalco, Manolas, Cisse, Reabciuk, Madi Camara, Mamadou Kane, Andreas Bouhalakis, Zinkernagel, Tiquinho, and Masuras. It's like
What a horrible season, guys! Like
Yeah,
what
just a
terrible
completely different
management.
team.
Terrible management. Absolutely terrible management this season.
Mm.
We are well over an hour right now. Do we have anything to add to the transfers? Because I would like to do a bit of a preview for PAOK.
Who else is out? Like it's so hard. Like as Adi just described, I think is there anyone else? I don't know. Guys, tell us. Is there someone we're missing?
I think we covered them all. I mean, you're talking about in general.
Yeah. And one last note: are we worried that we don't have enough 6s or 8s now? Someone brought it up in the.
We just discussed it about the midfielders. We got like 2 6s and 2 8s and 100,000 number 10s.
Yeah, so I guess with no Europe, you know, the team's just like, fuck it, let's ride it until the summer and hope this works, you know. But like, if Jan and Villa goes down, or I'm scared Kasami playing a derby, like.
Or Samaseku plays finally.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hopefully, Jan and Villa deserves a big contract from somewhere at the end of the summer. Like, it may not be Olympiacos, but like some Arab team better pull out the wallet for him.
I got an interesting. Sorry, Labro, but I got an interesting question for you all. Samaseku, where do you play him at in the Olympiacos team? At the 6 in front of the defense, or do you play him at the 8 where he can press?
Isn't Villa playing or no?
Forget
Villa. If you want Samaseku in the team, where do you play him?
If Villa's in there, you have to play him further up the pitch.
Okay.
Without Villa, you can play him back.
But Ari, what about this? What if you're playing against a team that's very good on the counter? Your defense sucks because you're Olympiacos. What if you had Villa and Samaseku in midfield providing cover for that horrible defense that you cannot trust?
Okay, but then who's going to be you? We've done this before with 2 negative midfielders. I don't mean negative in the fact that they're like bad. I mean more defensive. And we've been through this. It always ends in something ugly. You might be staving off the inevitable, maybe you might be helping the defense out, but if you can't score, you can't get the ball forward, you're in the same position. So you would have to.
That depends who your wingers are. That depends who your wingers are, though.
Well, exactly. Who do we have? I mean, now maybe with the transfers, hopefully it's a different story, but it's not a good situation. You would have to adjust. You would have to play 4-3-3. Huang would have to be there.
Yeah.
And that's the only way it would work.
Yeah.
Marshall?
Imagine if we had to play him and somehow it triggers the first search option that is Adam on his loan. It will be funny. No, it's just a joke, but sometimes I wonder if there isn't some kind of hidden clues on his loan, because it's the same situation with Madi in Roma, if we're honest, because
look at the midfield of Roma.
He just stopped playing at Hull, and he was probably one of the best midfielder of Roma before that, and probably he will gonna play again in like 1 or 2 months, and Roma will come back with a 5 million offer we're gonna accept because we have no choice.
Well, the transfer. I mean, sorry.
Control choice at the midfielder would be a nice solution, because I just saw a comment. And I couldn't agree more with that, because
that's one of his original positions that he hasn't played for years on. And well, I mean, this has been, I mean, the summer this has been a much calmer transfer window than the one we saw in the summer. I cannot remember a more turbulent one. And well, this, I mean, when it comes to Olympiacos, this is it. That's their transfer business for January. And we got an extremely difficult match coming up, the most difficult match of the second round, followed by another extremely difficult match, which is AEK at OPAP, which is on Thursday. It's so Sunday PAOK, AEK on Thursday. What do we make of this upcoming game with PAOK?
If we win there, we're probably gonna win the league, because I do believe that is the worst place to win, because if you remember whole game against PAOK, it always was very difficult. Like, apart probably of the 3-0 we won at Karaiskakis, I do not remember a clear victory against PAOK like the one we did, for example, at Leoforos with Martins at the end in playoffs, like the 4-1, or against AEK during like 10, 12 games, if I'm correct, without losing. But against PAOK, we always have problems. We always struggle. So I'm not very optimistic. I'm not very optimistic, because they are so fucking difficult to beat. Lucescu's team are very difficult to beat.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's an extremely important game, because for me it is a do or die situation, and it is the kind of game that Olympiacos need to make a statement, and that statement is we're not going to finish fourth, because if Olympiacos lose, fourth place is starting. It's not a certainty, but it's starting to become a possibility. Olympiacos need to make a statement there.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'll leave on this note. I do have to head out, but I already told Costa in the last live that we did, this is going to be a tough game. I'm going to be like sitting on pins and needles, ass clenched, heart pumping. It's going to be one of those really difficult games. But it'll be, you know what? It's tough, but it'll definitely be entertaining, I think, even if I am going to have a heart attack during the whole thing, screaming at Mikali while the whole thing's happening. It'll be great. I'm so pumped. But I'll see you guys, and I'm definitely looking forward to the game. Exciting transfers, exciting deep dives, and I guess we'll talk about that more after the game on Sunday. So I'll see you guys then.
Take care, Adi.
Yeah, right.
The 3-10 is the thing, but I don't really see Michel throwing back for Tunis in a game like that. We probably lost some ground too after the last games.
It's like Martins pre-Arsenal. He's not going to play him against PAOK or something.
What do you reckon, Labro? What do you reckon?
What do I see? I don't know. I would take a draw like right now if you offered it to me. I watched a bit of PAOK's game with Reabciuk. They were quite open, to be honest, PAOK. Like, the defending was quite poor, I would say. But this point about...
Play.
Say again?
Ingerson didn't play against
Ingerson
Levadia,
didn't
did he?
play. That's right. They played Carregas. I don't know. I didn't want to take anything from it, but we'll see. It's a derby. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be craziness. And these things either go two ways. Like it's nervy 0-0. No one wants to come out, or they're just going to come out full tilt, and Olympiacos is going to be under it and is going to have to absorb some pressure. And we did it once before at Leoforos. Remember that atmosphere? Like back against the wall. Olympiacos was shit all season. Like everyone was like, Panathinaikos is going to destroy them, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a party. And they went out there back against the wall and they figured it out and they got a result. They should have won. Yes, I don't want to lose to PAOK, but we need to be honest about the situation here. It's Olympiacos is not in the best of form. They created chances last week, but it's a complete. You can almost not even predict it. Like it's a completely different ball game. You know what I mean? It's a derby. It's a Greek derby. Everyone who watches these games knows like it is very hard to predict how things go into them. So
it could be like the 3-1 we ate that night with Martins in his first season when we got murdered by PAOK, or it could be those. I remember a draw with a bar header on a corner, a game we could have lost like 10 times, and we snatched the draw. And as you said, I would take the draw right now if someone offered us. But I do believe we have the shot because obviously, as people say in the comments, they have some weaknesses.
What do you say, Costa?
They have new players too.
No, sorry, Marcial. Sorry, I interrupted you there, pal.
No, I was going to say they have new players in defense. They have Tyson to introduce in the team. They have Constantelias that probably gonna be in very big form because he's probably a big game player because he was kind of average against Olympiacos, but we all remember what he did in Leoforos.
Random question: is Doi suspended for this game? I haven't read any. No, okay, that's good to know. I was just wondering.
He served the suspension the last game when Reabciuk played.
It's weird how you can do that in Greece because I think in most leagues you have to serve the suspension in the competition.
No, they do that in England as well. Like that Salet Atsar from Southampton, he played in the second leg against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup because he served it in the Premier League.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Well, something I have to say is that I liked with the Levadiakos game is I liked Razvan Lucescu's outburst about calling the title fake and rigged, like he does every season and in every game. I mean, he's gonna do the same with Olympiacos. He did it in the first leg when they won. They called the whole thing rigged. I mean, he's gonna do it anyways. But if Olympiacos beat them, or if they don't beat Olympiacos, he's gonna say it again. But I like that because it shows panic, it shows anger, it shows frustration. It's like he's preparing the excuses for Sunday. Like he's not certain he can do it against Olympiacos after an unconvincing performance against Levadiakos. What do you guys think? I kind of like that. It's like I'm preparing I'm laying the bricks, I'm laying the ground for the big game. Because if I lose, I'm just gonna say, remember what I told you last time? Rigged.
I don't think it has so much of a bearing. It's not anything he hasn't done before. Is quite consistent with how he behaves. And I agree with Marshall. Like, I really can't remember a game going up north to play in Dubba, to play in the land of Mordor against
Don't say it.
some of the fans are like orcs, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know like all fan bases have orcs, but like, okay, it's black and white up there as well. And like the orcs really is fitting. Sorry if there are PAOK fans watching Gate 7
an hour and 15 minutes in as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think that more than anything, this week, like the week ahead, and I mean the PAOK game on Sunday and the game against AEK in Opapa Arena, I don't want to say it's make or break, but that's massive for the coach and for the team. It's like you come out of these two games without losing, let alone getting wins. That's massive. So you win against Balk, and you win away at Opap Arena where they've not lost yet. They haven't I don't even know if they've dropped points. That's massive. That sets you up to go and win everything.
It's going to turn everything around. A victory over AEK at Opap is going to be a blow to their soul.
But I think it's super important that we qualified for the cup and that we go and play AEK at their ground, because we've got to go and play them in the league for the second rounds. I mean, before the playoffs. So it's good that the players get to smell the turf, so to speak, get used to the pitch, the atmosphere there and everything, because they've never been there before. So I think that's important. But I don't know, there are questions coming into the chat now. Oh, should Ramon play instead of Reabciuk? And of course Reabciuk's going to play. Of course Reabciuk's going to play. Otherwise,
if he's not going to play, you sell him. Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, they would have sold him. Exactly. Can Olympiacos beat Balk? I think if he sets the team up, yeah, we can. If he sets the team up properly, yeah, we can. The reason Martins went and we lost 3-1 the first season is because he didn't know where he was going. He didn't know where he was going, and he didn't know what to expect. He didn't know how to play. And Lucescu completely ripped him apart. Lucescu knows the Greek league. He knows Olympiacos.
Yeah, if I can add something about Lucescu and Costa with a K, you say that he's kind of lost with the reboot thing and stuff like that. But I do believe that it's the opposite. It's like he's taking the pressure away from his player by the media stuff he always do before and after the games, especially against big teams from Aten. And he's like the general of the army. And every time we play PAOK, I do watch the lineup, and I'm like, there's no way we lose against this team, because I would not take like more than 2 or 3 players from their team. And when you look the team from AEK, for example, I do see more quality in AEK for the moment, like player by player. But the thing that Lucescu is really good at is creating a team. And they started the season very badly, quite like Olympiacos. They did less transfer, but every one of them was probably a mistake at first, and they turned things around because Lucescu is able to create something in his team. And I don't know. I don't really explain why we struggle so much, because probably PAOK is the perfect nemesis for Olympiacos in terms of attitude. Like they are very aggressive against us. They put aggressivity on the pitch, and we will have to respond to that. Yeah. And probably the young players they have in the squad probably could lose like some nerves on those games, but because Villarina is out of this game, and players like that, Kotarski, for example, conceded a PK against Reabciuk. He's not really reliable as a goalkeeper, so they do have some weaknesses. And the strikers could be, even if Oliveira is in a good form right now.
I've got an interesting one for the weekend against Balk. I think a really important matchup on the weekend is going to be Tyson and Rodinei. That's going to be a really interesting matchup on our right-hand side. I haven't seen Tyson since he joined Balk. I know he scored on his debut with a nice shot.
The debut was good. I watched that.
Yeah, but that's an interesting matchup. Like they're both in their 30s. They played each other in Brazil recently, I would assume, the last season. So I'm looking forward to see how Rodinei does against like a good attacker, because there's a problem down that right hand side. He's I mean, I've said it on the last few pods. I love what I see from Rodinei, like going forwards, on the ball ability, etc. But because we don't have chemistry as a team, when he does go forwards, sometimes there's a gap. There's a gap and there's no one covering it. And I've seen opposition exploit that down the left-hand side, our right-hand side, the last few games. If you look back at, was it against Offi at the weekend, we ate the goal from our right-hand side, cross came in, tap in, and it was the same against Aris. I think we conceded a goal, but it was ruled offside. And it was exactly the same action on our right-hand side. Rodinei was forward. He does, I think he's quite, fairly decent tracking back, but it happens. And you normally, in a real team, when Olympiacos had a team, capital T, you had a Guilherme slotting in, you had Camara slotting in, someone was covering. Now that's not there, and you've got dangerous players on that side of the pitch. So look out for that on the weekend. That's something I'm thinking about.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say before we wrap up, I think here, just like Lucescu fits PAOK so much. Like he's like one of them, like I remember when they went to Marseille, it's like he's commanding the army. It's like not even like he's the manager, but he is also has a strong connection of the fans there. He understands them, the mentality and everything. It's almost as if they're one, and he's the general. And I just remember Martin's years. We've lived fantastic football. Like he's Sauron. Yeah, there you go.
That's brilliant.
We lived amazing memories with Martins, but to be honest, Lucescu welcomed him into so many traps. Martins got outmanaged by Lucescu so many times with this he plays this kind of image like I'm a crazy idiot with the fans and the refs, and it's all bullshit. Like he crafts a narrative and brings you in and destroys you. Like I don't know how much
the loss with the Mihai goal, late goal.
Yes.
I think it was in the playoff. It could have been unbeaten all season, and they had to come to win in Karaiskakis.
And it was...
Remember the Vukovic own goal? That game we could have won like 6-0 probably.
Even this season, the win PAOK did with us. Like
they are very, very hard to beat.
They just know, too. Like Lucescu like people think he's a dumb idiot or something, but he knows what he's doing. Like he knows the level of his players and the fans, and they connect. It's really fucking hard to beat them. And Michel is, he's lived some craziness there. Can we remember some of the past times Michel went to Tumba, like straight riots, So he's not naive to this either. So it's going to be interesting, if anything. Like I'm really keen, like for a neutral or for any fan of either side. Like it's exciting. Like let's see.
But that's a good point you mentioned, because probably Martins in his first year when he went to PAOK the first time, he didn't knew the place and the context in which he was going to compare to Michel, because we can compare Michel and Martin's abilities. But the fact is, Michel knows the Greek league. He knows what it is to play in Tumba. He knows what it is to have to win in Tumba to fight for the title. So that should be something that should help us. I hope so.
Yeah.
Can I just say, sorry, I was laughing to myself for 2 minutes with this comment.
It's good.
Going to the land of Mordor to play against.
He is. Yeah. I mean, this is
the Orc army and the Lord Sauron.
So much of it works, He's like their leader. Like I swear, some people don't get it, but you take a stand back and watch him and actually listen to his bullshit, and it's real. Like he is like the architect behind all of this stuff, and it's kind of incredible what he's done. I don't know. He's like perfect. He's the perfect coach for PAOK. I think we can say that. Like he just. He embodies. Abel Ferreira was a good manager. Like, look what he's doing. But he was not a PAOK manager. Like, Pablo Garcia was a PAOK manager. Like, there's some managers that fit with fans.
he
And,
embodies
he
the fan
embodies the
base.
club and the fan
He
base.
does.
Exactly.
He embodies
Yeah,
the
that's what I'm
club as
trying to say.
well. He does embody
Yeah.
the mentality. Right, guys. So thank you for joining us. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Like we said, the channel keeps growing.
Indeed.
Please do help the algorithm. We're going to keep bringing you some exclusive content. We're going to be bringing you stats. We're going to bring you findings, everything you need to know about Olympiacos' latest signings, their next games. We're going to be bringing you more analysis with the help of other journalists, like we had Dan Long recently. Still working on interviews with former players. Guys, do we have anything to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, what's going on with your t-shirt, and is it really hot in your room? Like, what's going on with you?
It's funny because I recently went through a rather heavy cold, but I don't know, man. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I don't know. It's a gray shirt. You don't like it?
Okay.
No, I love it. It looks great. I don't know.
Brilliant.
It's just,
You don't think it looks good on me?
no, but it's warmer in Greece than it is in
Yeah,
Belgium.
yeah. It's just like it looks
Well,
very
right now,
warm
yeah,
there.
I am in Greece.
There were some comments in the chat. They were like, "Are you in Hawaii? Like, what's going on?"
Labros would know.
I would. Anyway.
Right, guys. So, anything to add other than
No.
the temperature? All right, guys.
I will add that I have really enjoyed the episodes of you guys and listening to episodes recently. Adi and Costa, Marcial and whoever, I've enjoyed actually watching episodes when I'm not on. It's been fantastic. I'm just gonna say that publicly. You guys are doing a great job.
Aw.
That's nice.
You too, man. You too, man. Right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. PAOK on Sunday. This has been the Olympiacos Transfer Business, and we are going to see you real soon.
Peace out.